Please stop disrespecting our basketball players. That's it. That's all.
Get that stuff out of here. It's Southwest Bias.
Welcome into another edition of Southwest Biased. It is me, your Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of PHNX. Happy to be here. Happy to have you guys here. We got our guy, Erik, a.k.a. the Freckled Mamba, on the ones and twos today. And we have a whole lot of basketball to talk about, including Devin Booker being disrespected once again in the annual NBA GM survey. But before we get to that, we do have to talk about another basketball star in this town being disrespected, and that was Satou Sabally last night in the Mercury's loss to the Las Vegas Aces. The Mercury were down 17 in the third quarter last night, only to heroically battle back late in the fourth quarter to tie the game and then to lose on a last-minute bucket. It was heartbreaking, but what was more heartbreaking was the potential loss of one of our stars in Satou Sabally. She was injured on a play where she was fouled. The Mercury forward went up for a shot or made contact with Las Vegas Aces guard Jackie Young. When she came down, she basically tried to grab the offensive rebound. She got tangled up with Young, fell to the ground. As she was falling, she made contact with Aces forward Kirsten Bell's knee. It awkwardly caused her to hit her head, obviously, on the knee, which is part of the injury, as well as kind of contorted her neck back. And then Young was called for a loose ball foul. They evaluated it or took a look at it more. But while they were taking a look at the call, which stood, Satou basically sat on the ground. She stayed down for several minutes before rising to her feet briefly and then going back down to the ground. She was on the ground for, I don't know, a few more moments before standing up, not under her own power, not really being able to get up and leave the field. I mean, like we see athletes get injured all the time. We hold our collective breath. We hope that they can get up and walk off under their own power. Not that that means that they're not injured, but typically seeing an athlete leave the court or the field under their own power means at least that the injury isn't as bad as we might, be concerned that it is. Instead, what occurred was some of the most reckless care of an injured athlete I've ever seen. And I feel like a lot of people felt the same way watching that in the fourth quarter of the WNBA Finals last night. And honestly, when I say this is the most reckless care of an athlete I've ever seen, the only other time I can think of where I've ever seen anything so reckless was when I was working for Ring of Honor in professional wrestling. And I watched a wrestler named Silas Young come back with his head split open. And because we had no medical staff on hand at that event where anybody could have gotten injured, they ended up having another wrestler staple his head shut in my friend's locker room. And so that's the only, and that might be drastic. It probably is drastic, but I will say that is the only other time I feel like I've ever seen with my own two eyes more reckless care for a professional on a sport, if you want to call wrestling a sport. That's a whole other argument. No wheelchair, no neck brace, no backboard, nothing. It was ridiculous. The complete disregard for the extent of Satou's injury was baffling to me. Her injury was unknown, and she was just hastily picked up under what seemed to not be her own power and kind of drug around some seats and then around the bench and then some seats that seemed to be in the way of them being able to go to the back to the locker room. It was baffling. I honestly couldn't imagine seeing this lack of care for any other athlete in any other sport, especially during the championship series for their league. Why the hell, if you think somebody has tweaked their neck or has a concussion or has some sort of spinal injury, would you not ensure any kind of head or neck stability before all else? Again, this might go to my professional wrestling fandom, but I have rarely ever seen them have an injury where a guy's neck might be involved without them connecting him to the stabilizing board and putting a neck brace on them and making sure that at the very least that injury isn't impacted more, that it doesn't get worse while they are taking that individual to go seek care, get x-rays, whatever the case may be back back behind the scenes there. But this is just one of the many issues that has come up recently in regards to the treatment of athletes in the WNBA. And I hope that it is a big talking point going forward. I hope that even with the talks of money, television deals, the collective bargaining agreement, everything that's going on with WNBA, I hope that this situation with Sabally being such a big star for the Phoenix Mercury and being treated the way she was when she was injured in the way she was is something we never see again. And quite frankly, that's not Southwest bias. Those are just facts. Those are facts. And I'm glad to have you guys here. Again, sorry for those of you that came in immediately expecting Suns talk, but we will get to that very quickly here. And I do want to introduce, of course, our guy. We are joined today by a basketball expert around here at PHNX, the one, the only Erik Ruby, Easy E. Erik, thank you so much for being here this early with me. And again, thank you for at least getting us a little ready for the Sun season. We have no idea what that Sun season holds at this point, but before we talk about that, thoughts on the Mercury last night going down 0-3 to the Las Vegas Aces. I feel like we've seen this before where our hopes were up so much about one of our basketball teams making it into the finals only for it to go very, very wrong for us.
If we're drawing comparisons, it obviously the wins and the losses as far as games go is different, but it does feel like the Mercury just met their Giannis Antetokounmpo and Asia Wilson. Yeah. Because my Lord, she is so good. And the heart and the fight from this Mercury team, it's like you want that, but it's almost making this like a little bit more heartbreaking because I saw somebody tweet, oh, well, you'd rather lose by 20 than lose in that fashion, which I don't know if I agree with that. But I will say
finals. Not like this. Yeah. I mean, it hurts more, but it hurts more because of how close they came and how, a few balls going one way or another could have changed this for, this is.
Well, how about that three that shouldn't have counted?
What's that?
The three that hit the side of the backboard, the shot clock reset, and then they actually ended up getting a three. The Aces won by 2. The refs were awful, but I will say this, and maybe this is my hopium. Maybe this is what Totri calls me, senior spin zone. If any team, and I mean if any team can come back from down 0-3, it's this version of the Phoenix Mercury. Even if Satou is out, even if everybody is out. I was at a game earlier this year where it was just Satou and Ka and Alyssa Thomas were out, and they came back from down like 25 points because Sammy Whitcomb went crazy. Like if anybody can do it, it's this team.
I agree. And I mean, again, they gave a valiant showing last night. I mean, it was over as far as I was concerned. It wasn't even like the Aces just put it to them in the third quarter, which, by the way, we know how bad the third quarter is for basketball teams in this town, and last night was no exception.
Can we not do that? Can we not do that?
I'm sorry. Anyway, but no, getting back to this, it was a gradual. I mean, they really put their foot on the pedal in the third, and that's where they kind of pulled away. But their lead just kind of increased through the first quarter, second quarter. We get to the third quarter, things seemed hopeless, and quite frankly, the way that this Mercury team was able to just suddenly turn things on and turn things around, I don't know if it was more on the Aces for doing what teams do when they have a lead and kind of coasting. I did notice the Aces were trying their best to waste almost every single shot clock there, but with like 8 minutes left to go, it felt a little desperate, but the Mercury did an awesome job. I agree with you about them being able to do it, but if Sabally misses time, can they do it without Satou?
Listen, no matter what, even if you had everybody healthy, going down 0-3 in the finals is basically it's the nail in the coffin. We don't see teams come back and do that. Now, this is the first time we've seen 7 games in the W final. So
this should be over already, technically.
Right.
So at least they do have that chance on Friday.
It just does feel like this team is such a I don't give an F, I'm going to try hard, I'm going to scrap it out attitude that hopefully and really hopefully that they could at least pick up a couple of wins here. Because I do think a lot of people are like, oh, wow. It's like this was such an incredible season and they were such an incredible team. Like, I think the whole Mercury crew just did such a great job covering. Like, this was such a special season.
It really
was. And I'd like for there to be
that wasn't supposed to do this. This was not supposed to be this kind of season for the Mercury. Yeah.
No, they weren't picked to make the playoffs. They're in the damn finals. I just hope that you can get – I know there are, like, no moral victories, but hopefully you can at least pick up a couple actual victories in the finals and end the season on a little bit of a brighter note.
Yeah. I agree with you. Well, it's do or die for the Mercury on Friday at what we're calling the Morty now, or the MMC.
Morgue.
I don't. What are you calling it?
The Morgue.
The Morgue.
Yeah, the Morgue.
All right, I'm on board.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
You come in, you come in and you leave in a body bag, basically, is what happened. But
or you're in a body bag because your season's dead. It really goes both ways.
It's a cold place to play. It's a cold place to play. But we are going to take a quick break, and on the side of this break, we're going to talk about the Suns playing in that building. Also, that building changing a name in the middle of the season, not very good. By the way, the Mercury 0-3 since they changed the name to that building, and 0-7 all time when playing. I think after a name change. So as much as Espo didn't care about the name change, I care when it causes the teams to lose. But we're going to take that break. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk about some Suns. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching Southwest Bias. Well, it's a Thursday, and of course, if you need help getting through this Thursday, especially after watching what happened to the Mercury last night, stop by Zenleaf and pick yourself up something that can improve your mood and get you through the day. Zenleaf is your go-to spot for cannabis, flower, vapes, edibles, and more, all from the brands you trust. With locations all across the valley, it's easy to find them. They're in Chandler, Gilbert, North Phoenix, and more. It's easy to swing by before kickoff or order online for express pickup post-workout. Next time you're pre-gaming, post-gaming, it doesn't matter. If you just need to chill after a rough fantasy week, which is every week for Max Simpson, make sure to stop by Zenleaf dispensaries. Right now, for a limited time, you can use our promo code of ZenPHNX for 50% off. That's right, 50% off just for listening. You can only use it once, so make sure you stock up with an amazing discount. Whether you've been around the block or you're trying something new for the first time, the Zenleaf crew will make sure you leave with exactly what you're looking for. And don't forget, once again, that limited time promo is ZenPHNX to get you 50% off a one-time purchase. Zenleaf, great weed, great service every time. And of course, nobody does it better than Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You can visit any one of their 4 locations for an amazing staycation, no matter the time of the year. Now is a great time for that, but also you can lounge at any one of their resorts and let relaxation take charge, which is what I'm all about, relaxation. But Damon and my guys here, they dragged me down to the casino floor, even though I feel like I'm too old for that, but I'm not. Once I get down there, having a blast. They have over 4,500 slots and live table games. You can catch all the action at any one of their sports books. Have a great night out on the town. Again, make it into a staycation, hang out by the pool, have a great night out. It's all happening at Gila River Resorts and Casinos with an unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement that you won't find anywhere else in the desert. They have set a high bar. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathegila.com for more details. All right, well, the guys in the chat are pumped for the Phoenix Suns to get back on the court. I think we all are around here. I know the expectations for this team are not very high, Erik, but at the same time, it does feel like some of the things we've seen out of them so far makes us feel like this team might be better than at least the so-called experts are giving them credit for.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of schools of thought, right? Should the Suns probably be worse than they were last year? Yeah, you lose your best player in Kevin Durant. You replace him with, a shooting guard that has a lot of room to grow, is on the younger side. Dylan Brooks, who is a known quantity, and then a top 10 pick who's a project, basically. Should the Suns be worse? Yes. Will they? I don't think so. And maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Maybe I'm too far in on a game 1 preseason, but the way these guys have been talking all summer, the way that Jordan Ott has been working with them and organizing them and this type of basketball that they're going to play, which is a lot of heart, a lot of hustle, defensive mentality, and just smart basketball at the end of the day, which you did see in preseason game 1.
Correct.
That type of stuff lends to winning more regular season games than not. And do I think the Suns are going to win 50-plus games? No. But do I think that they are the type of team to win a lot of the games that the Suns lost last year? These games where the other team out-hustled to them, where the other team actually showed up to play on the second end of a back-to-back? I think they're more fit to do that. So I would not be shocked if they smash that over, which is usually around 31.5, depending on where you get it.
And 31-32 seems to be what their preseason over-under for wins is. And again, is it really going to be that bad? Or is that just, once again, like just doing simple math on the fact that it's the Suns team without Kevin Durant? They won 36 games last year, by everything would tell you that 31, 32 games seems reasonable. But to me, as a dedicated Suns fan, diehard Suns fan, I find it to be disrespectful. And I want them to prove a lot of people wrong.
I want them to prove a lot of people wrong too, and I think they will. There is a line between, are they going to actually win a ton of games, or are they just going to be a lot more fun and entertaining to watch?
Sure.
They are a Devin Booker injury away from smashing that under, right? This is the type of team that,
I don't love that, but yeah, you're right about that. That's
no, it's true. It's true. Like it's the type of team where there's not a lot of margin for error when it comes to the top level talent. If Jalen Green misses time, if Mark Williams plays the type of games that Mark Williams had been playing before, it's going to be a lot more of an uphill battle. It's up to Jordan Ott to kind of get the most out of everybody, and I think he will. And if everybody can stay healthy, which is the same with every NBA team, the Warriors are one top-end injury away from smashing their under. The Thunder are maybe the only team that's immune to that because they missed two of their top-end players last year, and they still won 60 whatever games. So, every team's like that. I don't think it's unique with the Suns, but Devin Booker is such an engine for this team and is such a top-end player for this team and is really everything that this team is built around. It would almost be more of a devastating blow, but I think that they can win 40-something games this year. That's like the top end, but realistically, I don't see them even coming close to that under. I think they're going to be at least a couple of games on the over for sure.
Well, how is Jalen Green doing? It was a hamstring injury, right? That was causing this time.
Low-grade hamstring strain, nothing crazy. We posted a video on our Suns Twitter that he was warming up before the first preseason game against the Lakers. Got that video from Swish Cultures. Want to make sure they get a shout out. But he was looking good. He was looking fast. He was looking twitchy. This is a guy who's played 82 of 82 games the last two seasons, right? He hasn't missed a game, and he started all of them as well. High-level basketball is with the Houston Rockets last year in those 82 games. I think this is just like extra cautious. They're being super cautious with Mark Williams, not even playing him in the preseason. I think they understand that if there's any slight minor thing that it's not worth risking in preseason. That being said, because they play in China tomorrow and on Sunday, there is, I think, a little bit of an extra emphasis from the NBA to have their stars play. So I wouldn't be shocked if Jalen Green does suit up in one of those games. That's how little I'm worried about that hamstring strain. But if he misses, I don't want people to think like he's screwed and he's injured and it's over. I think this is just more of a precautionary thing.
I'm sitting here laughing at Ayrton's avatar for the chat on YouTube. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, the second Mamba avatar for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then Jeff says hamstring injuries are common. Sadly, he's not wrong. I get one of those every 3 or 4 days getting out of bed in the morning.
And I usually compare you to Jalen Green. You're like the Jalen Green of PHNX.
I mean, for sure. People have been saying that quite a bit, actually. Years. I don't understand what it means, but they've been saying it.
It means you can catch a body, you can dunk on someone.
That's right. I probably not, but we'll see. I'm gonna get out on the court with Ayrton one of these days, see what I can do. But speaking of disrespect, speaking of not giving people the credit that they deserve, the annual NBA GM survey dropped once again. It's another chance for us to overanalyze the way that GMs in this sport feel. But again, NBA general managers reacted to key topics before the 2025-2026 season tips off. And now we have our bulletin board material because Devin Booker was not considered by NBA GMs to be a top 5 shooting guard in this league. What are your thoughts on this, Erik?
My thought is, I don't know if they know what a shooting guard is. Because number 1 is Anthony Edwards. Okay, I get it. Number 2 is Donovan Mitchell. After the last season he had, the success that the Cavs had, I understand why a GM would say that. Then it's like Luka and Steph Curry and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and it's like, okay, Luka's also at the top of small forward and point guard, Steph Curry point. I feel like you got to list one guy per position here.
Yeah, I
Devin
agree.
Booker is not just a certified top 5 shooting guard in the NBA. I think he's a top 2 shooting guard in the NBA. And on any given night, he could be a top 1 shooting guard in the NBA. The ascension of Anthony Edwards is something that's completely undeniable. He's probably going to be a top 5 MVP candidate this year. I think if Devin Booker was on the Cavs in Donovan Mitchell's situation, I think that he would be doing slightly better than Donovan Mitchell personally.
Yeah.
But I think those are the 3. And if you don't think Devin Booker is a top 5 shooting guard, you're not watching basketball. You're just not. And maybe it's because the Suns sucked last year, but that wasn't Devin Booker's fault. Even though I will say he probably had the worst year of his prime, I still wouldn't say that it was his fault. He is not just a top tier shooting guard, but he is also probably a top point guard in the league as well. Freckle Mamba in the chat says positionless era has made these lists obsolete. Unfortunately, like it's true, but it's also still like, yeah, like Devin Booker's a shooting guard, right? Like we all know and we all acknowledge this. I'm not gonna like lose sleep over it, but I do think it's pretty ridiculous that if you're gonna name 5 modern shooting guards of the NBA to say that they're the best of the best, that Devin Booker isn't staunchly on that list and near the top of it.
Well, you guys have a very early game coming up. Suns playing China. What time is that at here locally?
5 a.m. tip-off on Friday, 4:30 or 4 on Sunday. We will be doing a post-game show for tomorrow's game.
I know one guy that's a Phoenix Suns fan in New York, and he will be getting up very early for 2 a.m. to watch that game on the East Coast.
No, other way around.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. The other way around. I was thinking more of my other, my friend's brother that lives in Hawaii. It was the other way around.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Going into these international markets, something that baseball has been doing, not a surprise, but again, something that these local or not local sports, these sports here in the United States are trying to branch out and find that audience. I mean, NFL has these games all the time in the mornings. I'm getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch, NFL games. I got to go at 5 to watch the Suns in China. Like, I get it though. These are very important to these leagues growing and having that fan base be beyond what they feel like, I think, is a tapped out market here in the States.
Yeah, you got to kind of go international at this point, especially for, I feel like, football is doing it, but non-football sports are definitely more global. Basketball, soccer, like, baseball. These are all sports that are much more embraced by a global community than American football. It's interesting the NBA's relationship with China for reasons we won't get into here, but this is the first time that they've really reinvested in there in the past couple of years. And I think picking the Suns is definitely fascinating. I think Devin Booker is a guy who is pretty popular over in China. I mean, have you seen Chinese Booker? Have you seen him?
Oh,
have you
yes.
seen this guy?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Dude rips. He's awesome. I hope he's at the game. I hope he suits up. It's a preseason game. Let him get some run. I need to see Chinese Booker dish it to Kaman Malawach for a 3. Like, get him some run out there. But I like it from a organizational standpoint, from a league standpoint. But like, to be honest with you, none of that stuff affects me. You want to know what does affect me, Derek? I got to get up like when I go to bed. Yeah, I'm a late night dude. Like Erickson can attest. I'm putting in stuff for our show at like 1 a.m.
That's crazy. Right? You shouldn't be doing that. Get some sleep.
I gotta get up. Like when I go to sleep, man. I'm gonna be in a weird state tomorrow, but I am excited for game 2 of the preseason. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, the turnaround to get back here at 9 a.m. after being here at the office after a post-game show until 2 o'clock in the morning, that can be a little rough. I don't know.
7:15 kickoff for ASU on Saturday with possible rain delays. 4 a.m. tip-off for Suns on Sunday.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that, but I did want to remind all of you guys, of course, that on October 17th at 5:30 p.m., this man next to me, along with, I don't know, his partner in crime, if that's what you want to call it, the one, the only, Anthony Totri, they will be out there at Rally House for a special live edition of the PHNX Sun Devils podcast, and they do an incredible job. So they'll be right near campus at the Tempe Marketplace location the night before the ASU has their biggest home game of the year, taking on ranked Texas Tech. So come see Erik, come see Totri in person, plus you'll get yourself ready for game day with some great stuff out there at Rally House with their huge selection of game day essentials. And for those of you in attendance, we will once again be raffling off $50 Rally House gift cards to 5 lucky fans. So do not miss out on being there for that. The best duo in Arizona sports, it's Totri and Erik. No, I'm just joking. Yes. It's not them. It's not.
No,
it's
you're right.
PHNX and the Rally House is really what
you can leave it at the first part.
Visit their website right now for more details. Can't wait to see you guys there. Speaking of ASU, Erik, of course, they have a big matchup with Utah. They are ranked now. The Sun Devils are the ranked 21st in the country. They look to take on a non-ranked Utah team, but Utah, does have nearly a 70% chance of defeating Arizona State. Is that going to happen, or can the Sun Devils defense once again make magic happen?
ASU should win this game. Utah, their only loss of the season came to a Texas Tech team who's now a top 10 team in the country. Now, they did lose at home, and they did kind of get a whooping in that fourth quarter, but it was close until then. I think the reason why ASU should win this game is I do believe they're a more talented team. Utah did play nobody outside of Texas Tech, and when they played a good team, it didn't go well. That being said, on the road at Utah, night kickoff game, tons of rain against a Utah team that's much better than they were last year, that was ranked at one point this season, and some people argue should still be ranked considering their only loss is to a top 10 team. Utah could totally win this game. I want to give them that credit and acknowledge that they totally could win this game. The fact that they are such heavy favorites is a little bit shocking to me. Arizona State continues to get better and better and better and better, and I think their style of play matches up well against Utah. There are a couple of concerns, or at least just notes, that there might be a possible change along the offensive line and moving Ben Coleman, who's a fifth-year senior, to left guard, which is his natural position after he's been playing center throughout most of the season, and starting Wade Helton, who has never started a college football game before on the road in Utah. That's definitely, I guess, a concern with Utah's really tough front defensive seven. But ASU certainly has the firepower, the star power, and the depth to pull off a win against anybody in the country this season, and Utah's no different.
William in the chat says rain equals run game. ASU advantage on both sides in that regard. I do like that.
Agreed.
And
100% agreed.
Jeff is picking ASU. William also says Utah hasn't played anyone good. They got bullied by the only good team they played. ASU is battle tested. And in regards to him saying that they're battle tested, right? That loss to Mississippi State, I feel like they had to learn some lessons from that, right? I don't think that they really took Mississippi State for granted. But I think that was a very tough environment to play in. And no matter how much you blare cowbells through speakers, you can't really know how unfriendly of an environment can be. I do feel like that helps them a lot in this case with this Utah road game, as well as like the 7:15 p.m. start. I also think that, again, they've learned some things. I feel like this team, especially just in a short amount of time, has kind of matured together, and we're seeing them play football where they're making less mistakes and they're taking advantage of the oppositions.
They've gotten better each week, and that's all that you can really ask for. They are one failed blitz away that led to a walk-off touchdown on the road in SEC country from being a top 7 team in the country right now. Genuinely. Like, if they beat Mississippi State in that game, which I know is a big if, they're a top 7 team in the country. They're absolutely battle-tested. They have won games with their back against the wall, down double digits, on the road, down late. Like, they've done it all. Mississippi State's also a good football team, which I don't think a lot of people were expecting. They took number 15 Tennessee to overtime at home. They played good defense against Texas A&M, but A&M just proved too good, but they're a top 6 team in the country. ASU is the better football team this weekend. I'm going to bet on the better football team, but I'm not going to take away the fact that playing at Rice-Eccles Stadium against a great coach in Kyle Whittingham and a Utah team that is gritty, it's going to be a fun game because it's going to be disgusting. A lot of runs, probably lots of drop passes, really good defense, and hopefully a great PHNX Sun Devils post-game celebration.
I was going to say, you guys have the post-game show, plus you're also doing a watch-along for that, right?
Yeah, right? Watch-along for every road game for ASU football this year. So
There you go. Don't miss out on that. Let that be your second screen experience while you get to watch the game on the big TV. Erik, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for your knowledge of both ASU and Suns and Mercury and everything you do around here.
Thanks, man. Thanks for filling in on Southwest Bias.
Hey, I'm no Espo, but I'll do my best to get the job done at least. He deserves that vacation, as do I now. I deserve my vacation. I'm going to go stay at a haunted hotel in Bisbee, Arizona this weekend, and I cannot wait for that. So the rest of you, I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. I'm going to be back here in 30 minutes talking about baseball, so I hope you guys join me for that. Until then, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at @cap_caveman with a K. Of course, Ayrton has the coolest Twitter handle in this company. It's Freckled Mamba. And then Eric Ruby, I think, is just at Eric Ruby. I really need him to try a little harder for that. But Of course, as always, all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I appreciate you guys joining me this week. Tomorrow is my final day hosting Southwest Bias, so make sure to join me for that. One Johnny Venerable will stop by, and we are going to both scream live into our microphones to see who, in fact, can do it better. We're also going to preview that Cardinals matchup with the Colts that might just be a disaster. So make sure to join us for that. And until then, have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day. Behave yourselves. And remember, kids, basketball is fun, but it is way more fun when you aren't having to get up at 5 a.m. to watch it.
We all silly like the mayor.